Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, some of the D23 panels have been announced. Disneyland is already planning for the holidays. Progress in Toon Town.
Shop Disney is full of Halloween. We continue our conversation with legendary Disney Imagineer Terri Hardin and more. DL Weekly starts now.
This is your captain speaking to you from the wheelhouse. I'd like to welcome all of you aboard the DL Weekly podcast. For safe passage on our trip, please do not sit or climb on the outside railings. And be sure to watch your children. The water can be unpredictable in these parts, and we'd sure hate to lose any of you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of August 3rd, 2022. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Tag Bushman. I can't believe it's already August 3rd. What has happened to this summer, I'm telling you. Well, thank you to Christy S. and Bethany W. for becoming official weekly tiers on our Patreon. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, and access to our Discord community. Also, live streams like the one that we are streaming out of the recording of this episode right now to our annual pass holder and above supporters. They can watch this while we're recording and have some conversation and everything. They can watch this on YouTube, basically. So if you would like to be involved in some of that and have some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to join the community.
Just wanted to give everyone a reminder that there is still time to enter in our giveaway. So if you haven't heard, we teamed up with our friends over at The Op to give away not one, but 2 prize packs that both contain Disney Sorcerer Arena Epic Alliance, the core version of the game, and also their first expansion pack, which is Turning the Tide. To enter, please visit our website, dlweekly.net, and be sure to click on the giveaway link at the top right hand of the page there. We do have a nice fun bonus word that'll get you an extra entry, so be sure to use bonus word flubber to double your chances of winning. Winner will be announced on Monday, August 8th.
Good luck, everybody. We have some details about our D23 meetup. We will have a weekly tier meetup at the Disneyland Hotel at the Fireplace near Trader Sam's on Saturday, September 10th from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that's the D23 Expo goes to 7 p.m., so that gives us a little bit of time to get over there. If you can stop by for any amount of time, please feel free. We'll also be at the Expo the entire weekend, so if you see us around, say hi. Also, if you are there and you have to leave pretty quick, let us know, because we'd like to do a big group photo, but we'd like to have as many people as possible in that. Worst comes to worst, we can also just do a photo with just you as well.
Now let's get to the news. Well, D23 is just around the corner and more panels have been announced. There really is something for everyone with presentations like an inside look at the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, Walt Disney Imagineering, 70 years of making the impossible possible, and so many more. No word yet as of this recording on when you can reserve your seat for these panels.
So there, man.
I can't. This one knocked me off my seat.
She was so excited she couldn't even let me finish.
Nope.
Very excited.
Can't.
What are you most excited for?
Come on. Okay, inside look at the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, or C. I think this is fascinating. C, for those of you that don't know, is kind of become sprinkled throughout all of the parks. I don't know. I think it's really interesting, and they keep giving us more and more information about it. Of course, a peek behind the curtain at Walt Disney Imagineering Illusions and Special Effects Development Lab. It'd be shorter for me to list the ones that I am not excited about that they just announced.
Well, the 2 you just announced, I'm very excited about. Also, the Walt Disney Imagineering 70 Years of Making the Impossible Possible.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then, of course, the big one is the Boundless Future.
Yes.
Disney Parks Experiences and Products, which is also known as the Disney Parks panel, where hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll hear something about Tomorrowland. But even if we don't, I'm sure that there'll be plenty of amazing things that we're going to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
They continue to announce more stuff. This isn't the only panels and stuff. They are slowly announcing other things as well.
Yes.
So D23Expo.com is the place to go if you want to keep up on all that stuff. And they better get some reservations and stuff in there quick, because time is running out.
And then they also just announced some Marvel panels. There's going to be Marvel Draw Live. There's going to be Marvel Comics celebrating 60 years of The Amazing Spider-Man.
There's going to be signings with Marvel Editor-in-Chief C.B. Cebulski, perhaps, and Executive Editor Nick Lowe. But yeah, there's just new stuff being announced all the time. And like I said, as of this recording, there's only 37 days left before all of this. And so they've got to be announcing reservation stuff for this soon, but they haven't yet. So who knows? You know what will happen? This will be being edited and almost ready to post, and they will announce something, and we'll be out of date already. But D23Expo.com to keep up on all that stuff, guys. Well, summer is still in full swing, but Disneyland is already talking about the holidays. And when I say holidays, I don't mean Halloween, because we've already learned and passed that one. We're already on to the Christmassy time kind of area. Well, this week, Disney announced that the holiday season at the resort will be from November 11th through January 8th. World of Color Season of Light will return, along with Disney Festival of the Holidays, Viva Navidad, and more.
You know, I was surprised and also not surprised that they announced this already, because we haven't even gotten our foodie guide yet for Halloween. So I feel like we haven't even gotten all of our Halloween time announcements just yet. So it's surprising that we're now already starting to hear more about holiday time or the winter time holidays. However, this is kind of more of a general announcement. So this basically was just a confirming
Christmas fantasy.
Yeah, this was just no new information really here, just confirming that all of our beloved wintertime holiday favorites will be returning this coming year.
I was surprised because it seemed like they were starting a little later than normal, because I feel like, I mean, it's just because how the dates fall. Sure. But November 11th seemed like it was kind of late to start it, but it's going all the way to January 8th. So, I mean, you're getting it on one end and getting some extra on the other. So,
well, signs of progress have peeked over the trees in Fantasyland to reveal some updates to the hills of Toon Town. The hills have begun to be painted with a slightly new color scheme that makes the mountains have the illusion of being, you know, that forced perspective. So some of them look closer and some of them appear further away.
Yeah, so this kind of looks neat because the bottom-most hills are this kind of green color like you'd expect. It looks like there's maybe a little bit of like yellow on the next layer, and then it's that kind of purple and dark blues, which, you know, in real life, when you look at, you know, mountains further away, you do kind of get that coloring. So it does adding a bit of realism to it, even though it's Toon Town and isn't real in the way most things are real. It's animated. But, you know, I'm glad to see that this stuff is there. I'm hoping that however they've rebuilt these, I'm hoping that they are a little more weather resistant, so they don't have to paint them as often as they used to.
I think that's just hard in Southern California with the sun, as much as they try. But hopefully it's a long-lasting paint.
I mean, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to Toon Town being reopened with Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. I mean, I was just saying, August. We're already in August. Mm-hmm. Well, Halloween fans who can't make it to the parks should head on over to Shop Disney to get some spooky merchandise. There is a huge list of items here. Is there any of these stuck out to you, Teresa?
I'm the most excited, which this isn't really even a Halloween theme, but they released some sketchbook ornaments that I think are just so fun, and they kind of span over the remainder of the holidays this year, because we've got like their Haunted Mansion theme. So that's why they're being released now with it being Halloween time. But we have one that's Master Gracey standing at what looks like the entrance gates to the Haunted Mansion. We also have the Hatbox Ghost, a new version of the Hitchhiking Ghost in a Doom buggy, Constance, and a second version of the Hitchhiking Ghosts, kind of just hitchhiking how they appear in the attraction. But I don't know, they just look so cool. Whatever they used to make these, the ghosts are kind of like a translucent appearance to them, so I think they're just really neat. I'm very excited. I'm gonna have to like start a separate tree and have like it just be a holiday tree, so I can put my Nightmare Before Christmas and these kind of cool Haunted Mansion things on that tree, and then I can have my like cheerful holiday tree that has the more like happy Christmas winter. Those I like this idea. Kind of, so I can have like I want
you should get
because I enjoy both.
You should get a tree that's black. And then put all the holiday stuff. One of these years, I want to get one of these countdown calendars.
This is the hard thing with the countdown calendars, though, is they come. It's a new version, or it's a new like theme every year. So how do you know which one to pick, because it changes?
True. I'm with you on the Haunted Mansion stuff. Looks really good. I love this Nightmare Before Christmas jack-o'-lantern votive candle holder. Very cool looking.
I also enjoy
last one.
Oh, yeah.
Mickey Mouse light up skeleton costume accessory set, because it's like Mickey hands, but the light inside glows where it looks like a skeleton, and then the ears.
There's also a lot of fun skeleton dance themed merchandise that I find very fun. There's some glasses that are very cute, very fun. And then
when you say glasses, you mean like you
drinking
could drink
glasses.
out of? Yes.
Yep, like drinking glasses. And then there's also this incense holder, like the figurine. I just like the style of it. It's very cool.
Well, for a link to see all of these things, it's in our show notes.
Weekly Tiers who would like something sweet at the resort, and let's face it, who doesn't? There is a new treat for you. The Blueberry Hand Pie has come to Trolley Treats on Buena Vista Street in Disney California Adventure. The hand pie is filled with a blueberry filling and topped with blue frosting. The pastry is soft and buttery. Feed your sweet craving for just $5.49. So for those of you that don't know what a hand pie is, basically it's kind of Disney's version of a homemade Pop-Tart.
The thing that gets me excited most about this is the fact that the soft and buttery pastry aspect of it makes me very excited. Is there a thing with blueberry right now? I feel like there's a lot of blueberry things. Maybe not at Disneyland, but just like in general, I feel like blueberries.
I think it's because it's a summer. It's a nice summer berry.
Gotcha.
And it's there's always strawberry. You can always find strawberry. That's another good like summertime berry. But blueberries, like, it's the underrated summer berry. I feel.
Sure.
I hope, but I don't know if they'll still have these when we're there. But man, I really want to try this.
Well, guests who visit the resort next year might notice something different about the cast member uniforms. A new name tag will feature a character chosen by the cast member themselves from a list of hundreds of characters offered by Disney. Cast members have until August 14th to make their selections. Otherwise, Mickey Mouse will be the default. And when I say characters, it will be, as I understand it, just instead of where it says like where they're from, like their hometown, it'll say the character.
I'm curious about this because it's been so long that we've had, either hometown or a town that they've chosen for, maybe it's a place they lived currently, grew up, born, whatever. Some place that's significant to their past. I think that's been interesting because I also like seeing all the different places that cast members have come from to come work at the parks. I find that to be interesting. So this will be a change, but I can see how having your favorite character listed could also be a fun conversation starter. But we've had multiple conversations with cast members about different places, and we've actually learned fun facts about different towns across the U.S. too. I'm trying to remember, there was one recently, we were chatting with them on the train, and we were talking to them about whatever town they had listed, and it had something to do, it had like some horror movie connection or some like non-Disney connection. It was a really fun and interesting story that unfortunately I don't remember at this moment in time.
I like that. I like when I see cast members that have a hometown like near, because we're in the Midwest, so it's cool to see people that are like Minneapolis or even more kind of obscure areas but are around us. It's like, hey, we live near there, and a lot of people I think are surprised because if you're from a smaller town that's listed there, it's like, where I'm from? Like, nobody knows where I'm from.
Yeah. So, but the new cast member name tags are coming in celebration for the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. Tomorrowland has become a little more of construction land as walls have gone up around a few areas of the land. The walls are still up around the entrance area, which is covering a small building. The Buzz Lightyear and Star Tours Fast Pass area is also behind walls. The Tomorrowland or Magic Eye Theater has its queue walled off currently as well.
Yeah, this is interesting because where the Magic Eye Theater / Tomorrowland Theater, I feel like they keep changing the name of this theater, but nothing's in it now, so it doesn't really matter. But this is where they had the walk-up.
Yes, this was the
Max Pass location.
Very short-lived walk-up Fast Pass location. So you could go up, instead of having to like run all the way over to Indiana Jones, you could request your Fast Pass at this kiosk instead of having to go to the physical printed places. Or was this after the... Yeah, I think it was.
This was where,
now
like, if you didn't have your phone, you could go there.
Yeah,
or remember they were doing the thing, like, all the Fast Passes in the land you could go get from the one place?
That's true. I'm trying to remember how it worked, because I think they took out the ticket printing stations, and it was all digital. And this was the option if you didn't have a phone kind of thing. Because, this was post-printed fast passes. It's getting kind of confusing because we had changes and then everything kind of changed all over again. So they're just kind of reworking those areas, taking out, just redoing the cement on where those machines once had been. I'm assuming that they'll probably do like what they did in Frontierland over by Big Thunder Mountain and make it into like perhaps stroller parking, that sort of thing. Since these are kind of areas that are off the main walkway and just kind of like tucked off to the sides, but still convenient and next to areas that would be busy. So like the one that was for Star Tours and Buzz Lightyear is like tucked next to the entrance to the Buzz Lightyear queue. So that would be
between the queue and the store. Yep.
Because right now it feels like a lot of the strollers get parked kind of in the middle under the little People Mover track. So it'd be nice to
Which makes it hard to kind of cross over.
Yeah. So that's my assumption. There's no official word as to what's going on, but we will keep our eyes peeled and let you know what we see.
Your attention, please. DL Weekly Trivia is now leaving for a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toon Town, and Tomorrowland. All weekly tiers for...
Welcome to Trivia Land. How we feeling tonight? You ready for some good ones?
I hope so. I'm a little tired, but we'll see.
Oh, all right. Well, we've got some new listeners, at least new to me. I don't recognize these listeners submitted names.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
So I'm excited. These are some good questions, and I'm ready to see what you got. So let's get right to it. From listener Cooper C.
That is
in
good.
Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, there is an Easter egg of the previous ride that was there before. What is this item, and where can it be found?
I know this one. Do you?
No. There's a previous, item?
Yep, there's an item.
No, the only thing I know of is like Harold and all that stuff, but I don't know.
Harold and Figment.
Yeah, but
I
that's
gotta
not...
check out Figment
But
next
that's not reaching back to Tower of Terror.
No. So,
Is it like one of the birds or something? Because there's that cobweb-covered bird on the table downstairs?
True. I believe that it's one of the old hats from the costume. Like the little, I don't know, those little round red hats that they had. They're not really a fez.
Okay.
But I think
Fez-ish?
I think it's one of the hats that used to be part of the costume. And I believe it's in the case in the office. Like when you're in that
That
first
could be
room.
right. That could be right. I'll hitch my wagon to your...
It's like Clue. I'll take the hat in the office.
I will hitch my wagon to your horse on that one.
So a hat in a case in an office, that's your final answer?
Yes.
All right. Your second regular round question from listener Michael F. How many suns are in the interior of Small World?
Oh, this kind of goes with last week's question.
Wow. I can't even think about how many different rooms there are because there's so many. Okay.
12.
You think there's 12
I don't know. I'm
rooms?
just going to throw out 12.
I was going to mentally go through
Go
the
ahead.
ride on my head. Well, now I'm trying to think if it's every room or if it's every section because, right, some of those big rooms have multiple things going on in it. It's not just representing one part of the world. Maybe it's representing two parts of the world.
Sure.
Or is it
boy.
all true to the lyrics of the song?
No, there's multiple suns.
Yeah, but the song repeats, is what he's saying.
Well, no, then there'd be 16,000.
Okay, so I'm up to 10 just thinking. I think...
What did I say, 12?
16.
Okay. So I said 12, you said 16.
Yep, because I feel like I'm missing a lot.
All right, so 12 and 16, final answers?
Final.
All right. Your third regular round question
13.
from listener Liberty M. How many possible combinations are there for constructing a lightsaber
Oh, no.
using all the available pieces in Savi's workshop?
Oh, no, too many. There are too many possible combinations.
What is with these questions
and
this
there are
week?
13,000.
multiple different numbers that I will accept.
Oh, Jiminy. 13,000.
13,000, Teresa?
Yep.
Well, hold on. I got to do my math. 226. That's my answer. What was your answer?
226? 1,300.
226, final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. And your fourth and final regular round question submitted by listener Donna S. What year did they put brakes and limiters on the Mad Hatter teacups?
Oh, so it was an opening day attraction.
They really tightened them down a few years ago because everybody was complaining about how you couldn't, like, the speed was bad. I'm going to say, like, 2002.
But it's when they first put them on, though. So you know what I mean?
Right. This happened, like, later, but I'm going to say 2002 is when they first put them on.
So I'm going to say 98.
And 98, you said?
Yep.
Final answers?
Yes.
Okay. And your bonus question tonight, submitted by listener Ryan P. What is the oldest ride at Disneyland?
The carousel.
The carousel, yeah.
Do you know
Almost
the
had
full
me there.
name of said ride?
Oh, King Arthur's Carousel.
Thank you. And is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Do some of the trains predate the carousel?
No, I don't know.
I'm going with carousel still.
All right. Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Stick around until after tonight's discussion topic, and we'll all find out together.
Well, this week we are continuing our discussion and chat with Disney Imagineer Terri Hardin.
You told this wonderful story at Disneyana, and I'm not. The only reason I'm bringing up these Disneyana things is I enjoyed your storytelling so much that I want to share it with our audience. So it's not that we aren't going to cover new stuff, but I would love to hear the story again because it was so great and I loved it. The attraction you love the most, the attraction that you basically did yourself. There's a whole story leading up to it and the production of it. Can you kind of share with everybody what that journey was for you?
I'm happy to do that. And Tage, no need to apologize. Okay? Don't ever say you're sorry that you want to hear a story that I've told before. Okay? I speak to a lot of schools because I look white and I'm half black. And this is very, very, what's the word? Current nowadays, I guess I can say. So a lot of people are saying, what's your life like looking white and being of mixed races?
Mm-hmm.
Because there were hurdles in my life as a young person. And I want people of today, no matter who you are, to understand that God made you a human being.
Mm-hmm.
This is an honor and a privilege. You could have been a goose. Not that geese are bad, but geese have to fly south for the winter. And if you happen to be someone who doesn't want to fly south for the winter, and you're a goose, tough luck. Okay? So you're a goose and you want to stay up in Canada because you're not so big on humidity. And there you are flying south. And you're saying to yourself, I don't want to fly south. I don't want to fly south. Honk, 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 honk. And it says, too bad. Honk, honk, honk. You're a goose. Geese fly south. Suck it up, buddy. But as a human being, if your day sucks today, you, the magical creature, can go to sleep and make it better tomorrow.
Yes.
Just by saying it's so.
Mm-hmm.
You draw the line in the sand. You say no more. And you can be the master of your universe. Is it going to be difficult? Of course it is. Is it going to be harsh? Of course it is. But that's what's fun in life.
Mm-hmm.
If everything was handed to you on a silver platter, you'd be like something out of WALL-E. Oversized, floating around, having foods fed to you, and having soup. I mean, that's what makes life fun, is the ups and downs.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So this story is very interesting because I'm a passionate creature. I love Disney. So now I'm an Imagineer. And I'm an Imagineer with, oh my goodness, ideas. So I'm put on Big Thunder Mountain, and I'm very happy to do Big Thunder Mountain. But I've come from the film industry. In the film industry, when you're sculpting or creating something for the movies, and they say, oh my gosh, we have a deadline. Work, work, work. Fast, fast, fast. Go, go, go. It means that the deadline was yesterday. So do it as close as you can because we really should have had it 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Disney says the same thing. Oh, we're such in a hurry. It's a deadline. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Okay, when is it due? About a year. And you about fall over yourself. Excuse me, what? Because if you come from the film industry, that's luxury. That's absolute luxury. Problem with luxury is like big cats. Everybody's got to massage it. So it can be a little challenging. But there I was doing Big Thunder Mountain with my friend Vasile, and we were sculpting this Big Thunder Mountain, and we were just having a ball. We were coming up with the ideas. We were creating magic. I needed to go onto another project, and he wanted me to go. So it's two phases for Big Thunder. Big Thunder, the mountain, and then Big Thunder, the queue where you board. Mm-hmm. And that, because Walt wants that to be entertaining too, not just a bunch of pipes with chain link. That's got to be an experience too. And that everything about it is the experience. He wanted to catapult you into another world. And we all loved that. So we were in. So when Vasily asked me if I would join him, I went to my supervisor and said, no, you've got a thing called Dragon Slayer. I want that. And my supervisor said, well, Terri, it's just a stone dragon. It doesn't do anything. It's the hub. It's just a sculpture. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? And he said, what part of it don't you understand? And I said, the part that it's for Disney. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, Disney doesn't do garbage. Mm-mm. We are the ultimate park. We are the ultimate experience. We are the brass ring. We are the golden ears. What is the matter with this picture? A stone dragon? Are you mad?
Could you imagine if people went to visit a dragon at Disney?
Or a stone.
And it didn't do anything?
That'd be disappointing.
Yeah.
So I said, this must not be. And my supervisor said, well, don't talk to me. I'm just, I'm just work here, And I said, well, who do I talk to? And he says, well, you could start with Tony Baxter. And I go, well, let's get him down here. And he was like, you don't just get Tony Baxter down here. I'm like, why not? And he's like, because he's the senior vice president of Imagineering. Oh, so I got to go see him. All right. Which way is his office? No. You can't just burst in and say, you've got to make an appointment. All right. Well, let's do it. Get him on the phone. So he head to his hand, shaking his head. Okay. I will call Tony Baxter and I will ask him to come down because I have this crazy person who wants to talk to him about a stone dragon and why it shouldn't be a stone dragon. If Terri, keep it to 20 minutes. Whew, I say. Because as you can see, 20 minutes isn't easy for me. Okay, I'll do it. It's important. I'll do it. So we schedule Tony Baxter, and the day finally arrives. Now, I have illustrated a smock with a giant dragon going up my back. Because I am the dragon. I am the mother of dragons. I have been since I was probably 5. So dragons are everywhere. Dragons are my jam. Dragons are my thing. So I'm like, I got this. Mm-hmm. So I do display. I have a couple of drawing boards, and then I've got my whole spiel. I'm going to act the whole thing out. Is going to see. I will paint the picture. I will be Dick Van Dyke, Mary Poppins. They will see it. And so in walks Tony Baxter, and he has an entourage, a lot like when I saw Michael Jackson in Captain EO. A bunch of people behind him who are there to make sure he has something to drink, take down any notes he might need to have, and relay questions to me if Tony doesn't feel like speaking. So an entourage. And the first one's job was to get Tony a chair. And so Tony sits about, 10 feet away from me, 8 feet away from me, in a chair, and looks up at me. Now, pretend you're Tony. You look up and you see this girl, hair going all directions, because my hair looks a lot at that time like a haystack. And my eyes are on fire. And I probably look like something from the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, actually, now that I think about it. But anyway, I'm standing there, and I look like someone who's getting ready to run a sprint race at the Olympics. So just imagine I'm waiting for the gun to go off. And I'm vibrating. I'm like this little dog who's been told to stay, but I can't. I'm just waiting. Give me the signal. And Tony looks at me and he's very surprised. Are you Terri Hardin? Yes. Are you Tony Baxter? Yes. And I, Terri Hardin, say, Tony, say go. What, says Tony? Say go. Okay. Go. And this is how I presented it. Okay, this is the dragon. I think it's like this. I think it can't be stoned. It absolutely can't be stoned because we're Disney. We're not Magic Mountain. We're not Universal. We're Disney. Disney has a responsibility. Be the best in the park. So this is what it's going to do. The dragon breathes. The dragon waves. The dragon gets up. Fire. Water. And he goes, oh my God. Stop. Please. Stop. And there I am. I look at my watch. Hey, Baxter, you're cramping my style. I only have 20 minutes. Seriously, guys. Seriously? Baxter? Really? But I did. I have a witness. And Tony said, whoa. He said, if I give you more time, will you slow down and walk me through this? And I went, sure. And so for the next, I'd say 45 minutes, I walked him through my sketches and my drawings and my vision. I explained what the head would do, why the dragon's head is a little lower than your feet when you first see her, and how when she awakens, your body will actually do a little whiplash. You'll actually come up from the waist and your head will fall back because you actually see a living, breathing 35-foot monster. And she's not Elliot. And I was so proud to paint this picture. And apparently Tony liked it because he said, one condition, Terry. And I said, what's that? And he said, you designed the attraction. I had never designed an attraction in my life ever. But did I let the voice say, can you do it? And say, no, I can't. I just walked through the door and figured it out on the other side. And I thought everybody does this. And now I'm learning that everybody does not do this. So my job nowadays is to tell you it's scary, yes, but it's also fun. Don't let the scary keep you from doing that which could change your life. Play a part in your changing of your own life because you have the ability. And it was the most magical project I mean, there were others, but that one I got to design from the cement up. I spoke with people who did effects. I designed effects. I talked to animators on how she would be animated. I talked to people about the smoke. I described how when sleeping, I wanted smoke to seep from the mouth and nostrils. After all, the dragon breathes fire. It's not like a light switch. So we want it to be a living, breathing. I had watched my dog dream. If you have pets, you know how your dog is dreaming and running. And if you don't have pets, watch Lady and the Tramp, not the live action, but the animated one. And you'll see Trusty chasing something.
Yep.
And so that's why when the dragon is sleeping, her front paw twitches because she's dreaming. Dang. But she's calm like a cat because we can't leave cats out of the mix. So the tail that's wrapped around the stalagmite swishes gently in the water like a cat. A cat's tail tells. When a cat is mad, that tail whips around like a bullwhip. And when the cat is happy, it gently swishes. So these are kind of the elements that I incorporated to make her as real as possible. That's like my cat. That's like my dog. I love this dragon, and people adopt this dragon. That's why she's a she. I didn't say she was a she. You said she was a she. All of you out there said, that's a she. So I said, okay. They said, what's the name? I said, I don't know. What's the name?
It's incredible. Incredible. You've seen, so I have not been to Paris, but you have seen the dragon.
Yeah, it's in fact, Terry, you'll love this. The like number 2 thing I wanted to see at Disneyland Paris was this dragon. The number 1 was the castle, because the castle is gorgeous.
It's magnificent.
It is.
And the reason it is because France is the castle capital of the world.
Yeah.
Disney was like, oh man, we got to put a castle there.
They actually have these things.
There must have been over 150 castles designed and prototyped because they were, they would never tell you they were terrified, but they were terrified. They were like, how are we going to make this so spectacular in a place that has castles that are so spectacular? So, and they did it because you get to walk on the second floor. which is just so amazing. And I don't know a single castle that you can do that in other places, but at least when Paris opened, you know, that's what they did. And so the dragon was definitely, and I don't mind that she's second. I have a little girl who lives in the UK. Her name is Bella. The dragon is her dragon.
Oh,
I'm going to see my dragon. I met
so
her when
cute.
she was 7. I'm going to see my dragon. I'm going to see my dragon. Terry, I visited your dragon. She's fine. But she likes me better.
That's amazing.
Because the castle, for those of you, maybe people listening have never even seen a picture of this castle. But what's amazing about the castle, for me anyway, is first of all, it's so slender and tall looking, and it's literally looks like it's built into the side of a mountain. It's got this gorgeous green, like hill kind of thing that goes into it with these square trees and everything. But under that grass is the dragon's lair, and you go in through there, and it is, the whole experience is amazing. And the fact that you sit there for a while and the dragon's asleep and the dragon wakes up and the dragon looks around like, where's my lunch? Maybe you, I don't know. But is amazing. And it's so cool because it is an attraction, but it's not an attraction like you would think of an attraction. For me, I think, you get in a ride vehicle and you go through something, or, there's some type of, conveyance or whatever. This is like a walkthrough. You just kind of go through and there it is. And you could spend as much time as you want with her and enjoy her sleeping and waking up and the whole thing. And that's probably, her dragon, because she probably sits there and spends a lot of time with it.
Well, honestly,
so
people in Paris voted it the #1 attraction in Paris when it opened. And you are correct, Tage. It's not an attraction. It was never meant to be one. It was supposed to be the hub. Like we have Walt and Mickey. It was supposed to just be a central point for you to get to any land you wanted to get to.
Really?
In fact, the way that it's designed, some people miss it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going all the way to Disney Paris and missing the dragon?
That'd be awful.
Oh my
Seriously.
God, it breaks my heart when somebody says, there's a dragon underneath the castle in Paris. No.
Yeah. Did you not talk to anybody? Nobody told you that there was...
Did you not go?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
ow. That's painful. Because people will tell you, when I do talks, I'll say, which the best castle in the world is. And they go, yeah. And they'll name their own. And I'll go, no, it's Paris. And they say, no. And I go, yeah, it's Paris. You want to know why? Why? Because there's a dragon underneath. Oh, what?
Before I got super Disney nerdy and before I was watching all the different videos and seeing all, trying to absorb as much information as I could about anything Disney, the one thing that I knew about Disneyland Paris was that there was a dragon under the castle. That was the one thing I knew, and that's always been, that'll probably be the first thing I do when I visit that park, because that's been my, the thing that the thing that drew me to that park so much was just because of the dragon. So it's incredible to be sitting here with you chatting about the process and all the different little things that you did to kind of bring her to life and really make her realistic. It's really cool.
And think about the people who ran, Marty Sklar and Tony Baxter, president of Walt Disney Imagineering and senior vice president of Imagineering, who saw talent and nurtured it like Walt did.
Yeah. Didn't
micromanage us. But let us spread our wings and really create, which is why you're seeing things that dazzle the mind. Because, and they said, this woman knows dragons. This woman loves them. She's, I know Tony's eyes. I mean, Tony and I would go to lunch and Tony would say, I just saw something in you and I just wanted it so bad. I wanted what you saw.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful for someone to say that to you as an artist. You're like, yes. And I want others to experience what you saw, which is why Paris really, really loved that dragon underneath, because it's just everybody wants a dragon underneath the castle. People are like, can we put a dragon under every castle? Well, no, but the dragon was actually something I helped sculpt in high school. We did a field trip to Imagineering and we helped sculpt the dragon, which was originally for Tokyo Disneyland.
Wow.
But they put this dragon in a cramped elevator. It looked like, what is it, canned dragon? You saw an eye, you saw teeth, and you saw you saw a paw. It looked like back in the day when a lot of my colleagues would try to see how many people they could stuff in a Volkswagen bus. And here's this poor dragon, all cramped in there. And so I guess Tony said, we got to do something that lets the dragon, breathe and unfold and relax. And so I took the dragon that was done then and did a casting of it and then re-sculpted it to fit in that space, and then made that space. And I wanted it to be a little cold when you go in, so it feels like a cave. Mm-hmm. I want you to feel it as well as see it. It's very important to me and to Imagineers, because that creates the whole effect. Mm-hmm. That's what makes California Soarin' so fun, is when you smell the oranges.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
People go, oh, I smelled the oranges. That's if people would just listen to what really affects people when they come out, the experience was just like nothing I ever could imagine. This is what needs to continue to happen. And I'm grateful to say that, I love this attraction, and I love to see people light up when they've seen it and send me photos and say, look, I went and saw your dragon and I just love it. It's a real blessing to be a part of it.
Can you also talk just real quick about the chains with the dragon?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. The collar.
Oh yes. Well, so it's the story behind the dragon, and everybody loves a backstory. You Marvelites out there, but this is the backstory of the dragon, because as an actor, I do a lot of voice acting, and I'm a puppeteer with Jim Henson, off and on. So I'm always creating characters, and hopefully painting a picture that you've all been able to visualize. But I was told that Merlin's Magic Shop would be above. Originally, it was illustrated as Merlin's Magic Shop. Now it's kind of like a place where glass blowers make glass and stuff. And the parks are always going to change the original concept, sometimes to suit them. So it's always good to go as early as you can, so you can see what the Imagineers thought, because there will be changes.
Oh, yeah.
There will be shifts. Just think of Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones when it first happened, and Indiana Jones now.
Yeah.
Not a bad ride, but very different.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, if it's Merlin, who is a very magical being, and we have this lovely dragon who is also a magical being, why would she be captured? Why would she not? Why would they just not have a mutual agreement that this is a place for the dragon to find sanctuary, therefore no collar? And Disney said, yeah, no, we're putting a collar on it. And they built this massive collar, like something from Ray Harryhausen's Sinbad. And but the French, I was really grateful. I don't know if they did it on purpose, or they heard one of my stories, or they just felt the same way. But they snapped the link.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a collar, but there was a chain in the very beginning. There was a chain that kept the dragon from reaching out to you, and that was because they were afraid people would be afraid, like they would believe that the dragon would attack. But but people are, they love the dragon, and for some reason they feel safe around her. So that's the deal, is that now there is no link, and it's just I'm happy here, and as long as you don't cross the water and come and try to fight me or anything, I'm good, and you're good right where you are. So it's a very cool thing.
It is very neat.
Yeah, Imagineering is a really wonderful place to work, because you've got these major egos in the world, including my own, and we put it on the shelf and work together. And I say, if you could say one word about Imagineering, it's collaboration. And it's just so much fun to collaborate with these mega minds and these mega art people that magic happens. That's how the magic happens. We come together and create fireworks. Yeah.
So incredible. So the Dragon's Lair, your most favorite. Is there anything else that stands out to you with your career at Disney that were things that maybe you were, ideas that you were really excited that happened, things that you were really happy to be a part of, any other projects that stood out to you?
Disney Imagineering loves weirdos. And I loved being among weirdos and oddballs and misfits of science. You know, the perfect people in life, I think, have kind of a boring life. It's like when I see the lead actors in a movie, they're not what excite me, but the salt and pepper people who are the character actors around them.
Yes.
That really make my life I just love them. I just love them. Love watching how they interact with the lead. The lead has to be the straight arrow, but the characters on the side can be so quirky and funny and silly. And that's Imagineering. If Imagineers go to visit Disneyland, they make us take our badges off because we're so weird. Dreadlocks and piercings and tattoos and teeth hanging. And I mean, it's just, we're all it's just, we're people that don't fit that front line brand.
Sure.
That all American, so we had to take stuff that we had to take our name tags off. And I've always thought that was kind of a badge of honor. We were officially the people under the stairs. The creative sorts.
Yeah.
But there are projects that have been very special. When I got Ghostbusters, that was a page turner. And although most of your people are Disney, Ghostbusters was super special for me because I was a fan of Bill Murray's. And the reason I was a fan of Bill Murray's is because of Caddyshack.
Yeah.
And the person who taught me about puppetry was the gopher. So the puppeteer of the gopher in Caddyshack was the person who mentored me to be the puppeteer I am today.
Oh, wow.
And so when I saw Bill Murray, the first thing I did is I ran up to him and I told him, I loved you in Caddyshack. Well, imagine Bill Murray. He does this super, I just got up, deadpan look to me. And he says, Caddyshack? Caddyshack, really? Caddyshack. Wow. That's so yesterday. And I said, yeah, but I love it. I love it. My mentor played the gopher and you're just lovely in it. And your transitions are great. And I love the way you say Cinderella story. And he looked at me and he said, well, what about Saturday Night Live? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't own a TV set. I've never seen Saturday Night Live. And he went, what? Like that loud. I knew I had done something wrong, Teresa. So, Dan! So he calls Dan Aykroyd over.
Oh, gosh.
And the two of them are staring at me. Now, all I could think of when I saw Dan Aykroyd was Stan Laurel of Laurel and Hardy. His hair was sticking straight up. And I thought, gosh, he could play a good Stan Laurel. I didn't say that. But
yeah.
And he was like, what? And Bill says, this girl lives under a rock. She has not seen Saturday Night Live. We cannot have anyone on our movie that has not seen Saturday Night Live. Now I'm starting to see the picture. All of a sudden, I feel this wonderful movie that I'm a part of is slipping through my fingers.
Yeah.
You're like, lot like Princess Leia says, the tighter you grip, Tarkin. All I could hear was, the tighter you grip, Terry, Ghostbusters will slip through your fingers. And I was like, no! And I started to shake and get sad. And Dan was looking at Bill and he looked over and he saw that I was like having this little meltdown. And he said, Terry, what's the matter? And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't own a TV. And he says, you think you're going to get fired? And I was like, well, and he said, no. But I do agree with Bill. And Dan Aykroyd picked up my left arm, put his arm under my left arm. Bill Murray put his arm under my right arm. They picked me up so my feet were kicking. And they threw me into a golf cart, took me to a screening room, and I saw 3 episodes of Saturday Night Live.
That's incredible.
Now, many of you would go, wow, how cool. All I could think of was, please laugh.
I don't want to lose my
help
job.
Me laugh. Lord, I've never seen Saturday Night Live. What if it's not funny to me? All of this is happening in my head. Do you think I can fake such a thing? I don't think so. So I just prayed all the way to the screening room. And luckily they showed me some really good ones. And the last one they showed me was Land Shark. And I love sharks. I love anything that has to do with sharks. I love Jaws so much. And this Land Shark parody was so funny. The minute I heard the knock on the door and knew it was called Land Shark, I was laughing. I was laughing. Knock, knock, knock. Who is it? Land Shark. You're just like, what? Room service. Candygram. It was just brilliant. I was crying. And so, needless to say, I got to stay and do Ghostbusters. But that was one of those moments that you cannot I guess you could make it up. And I had a guy told me, I don't believe you. I don't believe that story happened. I said, so that makes it not true because you're too stupid to believe my story? And he was like, ouch. And I said, well, ouch right back at you. Who tells them you don't believe me?
Right. Yeah.
This is my life, not yours. So it was incredible. It was an incredible moment. And I tell the story, honestly, Tage, they all want to hear that story. They love that story. That's a very special story. They love to hear how Bill Murray, also how Bill Murray made me the butt of every joke he had all through Ghostbusters because I'm a gullible sort. So he had more fun. And honestly, so did I. But my impression of Bill, many people said he was difficult during Ghostbusters. But I just watched a thing called The Offer. And there's a quote there. Your truth, my truth, the truth, and all of them are real.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened. Maybe he was difficult, somebody else's truth. My truth was he was absolutely delightful. And I had so much fun with him. And he was a stinker, and it was great. They were all lovely. They were all so lovely. What a great show to be on.
I just can't believe you've worked on all of these amazing things that, Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters. That's such an iconic movie from my child. Now, I'm sorry, Terry. When it came out, I was 3, but it's still a movie from my childhood that I love and adore. Classic. And like Teresa said earlier, you did some puppeteering for dinosaurs, which I watched when I was a kid because it was on the CBS or whatever it was, or ABC,
yes,
evenings
it was
or whatever.
ABC, and Tage, you never apologize for being young.
But all of these, I'm looking through, and I'm realizing I need to go watch some of these movies again. I love Men in Black, and you were the puppeteer for the Twins. I remember the movie Jungle to Jungle, and you created the drugged cat that Tim Allen shot.
And Tim Allen wrote a letter to the shop and said, thank that sculptor for the best prop I've ever had.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was lovely. You do these things with passion, and they're very, 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 very happy. For example, in Captain EO, people used to love watching Captain EO, and there's that big scene where Michael Jackson is revealed. It's a woman.
Really?
Not Michael.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Nobody knows that.
Right.
And probably most shouldn't tell, but I will. You heard it here first, guys.
I do see from your Wikipedia that when the Supreme Leader, who was played by Angelica Houston, was supposed to be lifted in the air, you stood in as the stunt double.
Yeah, I think Angelica said, get that idiot get Terry to do it.
I also saw, this Wikipedia article, by the way, is just amazing, because I'm just reading, little bits of stuff that, of course, a bunch of people know the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. There's one at Disney Hollywood Studios, and then later in California Adventure. So when they pitched the idea, you were taken because of your hair?
Oh, yes. So I had anti-gravity hair. Okay, my hair, take a male lion and Photoshop my face where his face should be, and you have my hair. Okay, that blonde, too. That blonde. I did a show with Dolly Parton. She asked me what mousse I used. I said, mousse? She said, oh, my God. That's amazing. You know, and I said, it's really my dad's side of the family that's why it has such leverage and is so thick. But yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, Imagineers. We're a bunch of kids playing around. So they saw me in the sculpture studio and my hair's defying gravity, and they go, Terri, we need to, we've done this mock-up of Terror. We've done this mock-up. So they use foam core. Y'all know what foam core is in the middle. So they did 1/2 inch foam core, and they built a full-size mock-up of the Tower of Terror vehicle. You know, the dropping thing, whatever it's called.
The elevator.
And the elevator. And they said, Terri, come on. And they combed my hair so it stood straight up. And then I put my hands up in the air like I was falling and looked up. And oh my God, it was a hit when they presented it to. It was a huge hit. They said, how did you get her hair to do that? They said, that's the way it is.
It just is. That's awesome.
They really had fun with that. And that's what I'm talking about. I was always about, and I still am, about artists helping artists. So there's an amazing man named Don Carson, just a brilliant Imagineer. And his wife got hired. And his wife is a brilliant painter. She's very good. And I found this out because we're doing Splash Mountain Tokyo. Team of 15 of us are working on Splash Mountain Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
I was brought in because Splash Mountain Tokyo was behind by 3 weeks. My job to catch them up. So I said, okay, I can do that. But I met this wonderful woman, and she was painting, poor thing. She was taking so imagine this, guys. It's like those little tags that you buy that you mark pages with that come in fluorescent colors.
Yes.
Okay, about that long. And she was painting each one and putting a hook in it and setting it aside to represent leaves for the interior of Splash Mountain.
Oh,
this is what this amazing artist is reduced to.
Jeez.
And that is booby hatch material.
Oh my gosh.
So I see her and I go, is this what you asked to do? And she's like, I didn't ask to do it. And I said, what do you do otherwise? I mean, your portfolio can't be a bunch of these little strips painted. And she says, no. She shows me this portfolio that's magical. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I say, we have got to do something. What do you want to do? Concept art? She says, absolutely. I said, okay, let's say together, let's make a pact that when Disney comes up with something, we as artists are going to work to get you on a project that suits you best. Well, then after I finished Splash Mountain, I'm sent to the sculpture department. Finally, after so many years, I get to where I want to be, which is the sculpture department. I'm sitting in Blaine Gibson's cubicle. I'm looking at Blaine Gibson's notebooks.
Wow.
Because the Lord gave me 4 days of nothing to do but look through Blaine's work.
Wow.
Better known
That's
as
incredible.
Better known. I'm telling you. Just what a magnificent opportunity.
Wow.
For a young
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
So all of a sudden, I get my first project. I'm so excited. I'm going to be sculpting for Disney. You want to know what it was? It was the vomit seat.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, excuse me, what?
What was worse is that because I don't talk at all, they used to bring people through, new Imagineers to various Imagineers so they would tell about their station. And here I am sculpting this seat. And he's got about 20, 30 new Imagineers there, new inductees, and they're smiling and they're looking around because that particular sculpture house has maquettes of pirates and maquettes of presidents. It's just a wonderful, whimsical place to walk through. And Terri, what are you doing today? You don't want to know. No, we do. No, you really don't. Yes, we do. Nah, I don't think so. And they go, come on. Now everybody's, of course, curious.
Right.
I said, all right, hold on to your hats. It's the vomit. It's a new vomit seat for Star Tours. And they all go, what?
Wow.
What's a vomit seat for Star Tours?
Yeah, this is the thing. You're all saying that. I know you're all saying that on this podcast. And now put down your spoons, forks, and drinks if you're eating, because the next few sentences are going to be rather unsavory, if I can say that.
Mm-hmm.
So not everyone enjoys the tilting and bumping around of Star Tours. And needless to say, people have accidents, if you will.
Yes.
Namely, what goes in down your gullet comes out.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was the poor cast member who had to clean it up for the next person had a challenge because it was a corduroy cover. And underneath the corduroy cover, when it peeled back, that was not so bad because you could peel that corduroy cover up, toss it, and put a new one down. The problem was underneath. It was foam like in your couch.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absorbent.
there was no way that they tried their best, but it was just impossible to keep clean and sanitary.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, I pity the cast member because all I have to do is get away and I have problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh my gosh. So what they asked me to do was to sculpt one so that they could make it out of a 2-part cushion foam that can be wiped down because it creates a skin. And that way they could take a sponge or a sanitary wipe or whatever and wipe the whole thing down, put a new cover over it. Very essential, very important, just not real flashy.
Not real glamorous, yeah.
You don't put that one on the top of your resume.
Yeah, put it right up there. And they go, what the heck is this?
It's a good story.
Works, it really works to wake up those who have fallen asleep, because they're like, excuse me, what? You think that Disney is all, these amazing projects you get to do. And it was an amazing project. No doubt about it. But definitely a weird one. Boy, they and that's the one they talked about, I'm sure, as they left, their day. What was really interesting? There was this really crazy girl, Terri, and she's sculpting the vomit scene.
That's awesome. So aside from
good old vomit seat Hardin.
Yeah.
It's my claim to fame. It'll be on my tombstone.
So aside from the famous seat, what other things did you get to work on in that studio?
Inside that studio, I did everything I got to do the texture of the boat that those of you ride in Splash Mountain.
Oh.
When you are in Splash Mountain, which I know its days could be numbered, but enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
The 2-log boat with the rabbit on the front. So the rabbit is mine.
Oh.
And the 2-log. So I sculpted that little Brer Rabbit, which I'm very proud of. And then I did the 2 logs. And I remember them. I sculpted rope so that there was a logic to the 2 logs being together. And the people at Disney said, we don't need logic. No ropes.
Who needs a logic?
So they're fused together. 2 logs coming together. And so I got to do that. And that was a lot of fun. The downside about sculpting the texture for the boat was that I was the only woman in a sea of men. I had to relocate to Maple. And the agony, the men really didn't want a woman coming in there because it's not that they don't like women. It's just that it's like a woman walking into an all-male barbershop.
Sure.
Men get down. They say stuff. Men are supposed to maybe not say anything, and I think women do too, and they don't want men around. So it's not like. So I really could feel it, but you could have cut the upset with a knife. I felt like I was swimming through Jello. So Disney's solution was to take Dubatine, which is a heavy black curtain, and encapsulate me.
Oh.
So I had this curtain surrounding me and my boat that I was designing textures for. And I thought, that works great if I could teleport directly here, but I have to walk through to get to.
Right.
So it was terribly uncomfortable. And I knew they didn't want me there. And when you have that kind of pressure, it's very hard. It's very difficult to be an artist when you can feel that animosity, that upset. And it wasn't so much we don't like Terri. It was that why does she have to be here? It was that kind of thing. So there's 2 ways as a woman and as a human being when somebody thinks you're interloping in their world. There's a couple of things you can think about. You can take them on. I have a right to be here. What's the matter with you people? take your stand. Or, as my father says, look at it with some humor. What can you do to make this change? What can you do to change it? So I called it Don't Hate, Appreciate. And I'm a sculptor. So most of these men in Mapo had these magnificent mustaches and these awesome beards. So there's a clay that is very malleable called linoplastilina. And I started to sculpt caricatures of all the men in Mapo.
Oh, that's fun.
Took me about 20 minutes. So about the size of an apple. Size of an apple, did the mustache, did the eyes, cartoon caricatures. And there was a shelf just outside of my Dubatine castle. And I started to set these little heads on that shelf. And so you remember Addams Family, Cousin It?
Yeah.
The thing. So it was a side thing. The thing was, he wasn't coming up from the bottom. He was coming from the side, depositing the head and then disappearing. No words. I never said a word. I never said, look what I did. I never said any of this. But I got about half a dozen done. And I heard shuffling outside my castle. And there were two men sort of chattering. And the one man says, this is blah, 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 blah. Hey, is that you? And the other guy goes, what? Isn't that you? Me? Yeah, that, on that shelf. Is that you? And the guy says, well, looks like me. Could be me. Hey, what about that one? Is that you? No, I don't think that's me. Do you think that's me? So this is all happening outside while I'm doing my thing. And all of a sudden the curtain peels back and two men are staring at me. I've been there about 2 weeks. First man to peek through that curtain. And they go, hey, yeah? Did you sculpt these? Yeah. Are they us? Yep. Really? Yep. Can we have them? Yep. Really? Yep. And the next thing I know, I ended up sculpting the entire Mapo staff.
Wow.
Everyone in Mapo had a little apple-sized gnome head of themselves on the side, and the walls of Jericho came falling down. Mm-hmm. My Dubatine fell, and the person who disliked me the most was the supervisor of the whole floor. And he got to like me so much that I couldn't leave when closing happened because he would talk my ear off for an additional hour. So basically, I think as an artist or as a human being, if you try to figure out, it doesn't always work. But in this case, I thought if this works, it's great. Maybe you don't sculpt. Maybe it's something else. My husband had a really nasty, he works for Universal as a producer, editor, and cameraman.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And he had a producer who just didn't like him. She thought he was horrible. And for whatever reason, he's just him. He doesn't, he doesn't talk much. That could be part of the problem. But I mean, he just doesn't. And so he said, she really doesn't like me. And it's really upsetting. I said, well, what does she like? And he goes, I don't know. I didn't find out. I said, find out what she likes. He goes, like what? I said, I don't know. I'll know it when I hear it. So we found out she likes Mexican food. Mm-hmm. And one of her favorite dishes was mole. Well, I designed cookies. So for my brother and sister-in-law, they love mole too. And I've made them Melanie and Sam Sizzlers. So a brownie that starts out like a brownie, but it has that secret ingredient that makes it rather fiery at the afterbite. And they love them. I bake so many of those brownies during the holidays that they're very special. So I made her 2 dozen and I said, just take those to her and say, my wife wanted you to have this with our compliments. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, she was his best friend. She loved him.
Yeah.
She went absolutely ape over them. And I told her I couldn't give her the recipe because I'm writing a book. And she was like, oh, I said, they're a special recipe designed for I do it for my family. Each family has a cookie that's their special cookie. So it's designed. It can sometimes take years to make something for them. But it's just, if you take a minute and you say to yourself, how can I do, because I I don't know. I don't know if all bullies will react this way, because I kind of think usually when you're bullied, it's the bully that's the problem. Like they're really mean to you, but they have the issue. You know, and that's what I've discovered with a lot of bullies that bullied me. I mean, in the 8th grade, someone set my hair on fire. This is one pathetic individual.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he saw that it looked like a haystack, so I guess he thought a match would work. But the point is that, you know, somewhat of a loser. And it's really sad that he must have been so miserable that to take down someone who is so confident when they look like a nerd or a geek, you know, it's kind of a weird thing. So
yeah. For part 3, make sure you tune in next week when we finish our conversation with Terri.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop. And then you can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DL Weekly.
All right, welcome back to Trivia Land, where we're going to find out your answers and how you did tonight. How you feeling about it? You feel pretty good? You think you got it right?
I mean, I don't feel completely miserable, but I don't feel great either.
Oh, well, I don't want to make you feel miserable.
I'm only fairly certain on one. I'm not even 100% on the one.
Oh, well, all right. Well, let's see how you did. And you only have the listeners to thank for this. This wasn't me.
Thanks, listeners.
So let's find out. Your first regular round question submitted by listener the Cooper C. In Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, there is an Easter egg from the ride that was previously there. What is this item and where can it be found? You guessed a hat in a case in the collector's office. The correct answer that I was looking for is an old bellhop hat in a case in the collector's office.
Look at you, Teresa.
Woohoo!
Well done. Both of you getting that one correct. Your second regular round question submitted by listener Michael F. How many suns are in the interior of A Small World? There is one as you first enter the first room. There is another one in Scandinavia, one above Don Quixote. In the second room, there's one in India, one in China. Moving on, there's a very animated one in Latin America, one above the mariachi, one that looks like an Aztec or Mayan mask, and finally a cool polar blue sun for a total of 9 suns, even though the song says there is just one moon and one golden sun.
Wow, there's only 9?
I was close-ish.
I definitely thought there were more.
Your answers were 12 and 16. Your third regular round question submitted by listener Liberty M. How many possible combinations are there for constructing a lightsaber using all the available pieces in Savi's workshop? Your guesses were 226 or 13,000.
100.
Oh, 1,300. Sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
100.
Answers that I would have accepted. The total number of possible hilts you can build inside Savi's workshop, sticking to one theme with the limited number of pieces available, is 4 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 equaling 96. If you include blade color, it's 96 times 4 equaling 384. Top hilt times bottom hilt times switch times emitter times pommel times crystal. If you multiply this times 4, the 4 different themes, you get 96 times 4 equals 384. If you include all of the crystal possibilities, 384 times 4, 1,536. If you have one of each of the 40 pieces of 4 total themes, 10 pieces per theme, you would get 16 times 5 times 8 times 8 times 8, 122,880. And if you include 6 total crystal colors available, we have a total of 122,880 times 6 for a grand total possibilities of 737,280.
You lost me about like 45 numbers ago.
I try to be complete in my answers.
Okay, so nope, we did not get that one right.
All right, moving on.
Wow.
Your fourth and final regular round question submitted by listener Donna S. What year did they put brakes and limiters on the Mad Hatter teacups? You guessed 2002 and 1998. After an incident where a disabled guest fell out of his teacup,
Oh no.
in 2004, the cups were modified to not spin so fast. This was, of course, also after years of infamy of being the ride with the most motion sickness.
So 2004.
2004 was the answer that we were looking for.
I'm
I knew it was
quite
somewhere around there.
shocked that it wasn't I actually thought we were too late. I would have thought that there would have been something on it, and they just really limited them or really tightened them down more recently. Yeah, wow. Because I was thinking like 70s or 80s, potentially. But then with your 2002, I'm like, maybe I'm far off. Wow.
Man, tonight in the regular round questions, I've been pretty close, but not...
What are you talking about? 226?
No. Sorry, the 12 and the 9, and then the 2002 and the 2004.
Oh, sure.
That was close, yes.
Yeah.
And your bonus question tonight, submitted by listener Ryan P. What is the oldest ride at Disneyland? Constructed in 1922 and operated in Sunnyside Park in Toronto, Ontario, before being brought to Anaheim in 1954 and extensively refurbished before opening day in 1955, King Arthur's Carousel is the oldest ride in Disneyland. Both of you getting that one correct.
So what was the score today? It was 3, 2, 2, and 2?
You got
two.
the first one correct and the bonus question correct.
Only because you hitched your wagon on my...
We started and ended strong, apparently.
Yes. So, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you feel about how Tag and Teresa did? Do you think that you've got some great questions that can really stump them next week? If you think you've got those awesome questions, feel free to send those in to us at trivia@dlweekly.net.
We'll be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.